Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing the reasons why I sew. I've never really shared much about myself personally and why I started crafting in the first place. So today I feel like I just want to share about my sewing journey, and then next week I'm going to be sharing about my knitting journey and why I knit as well. So when I want to say like 10 or 11, I had went to a homeschool group, and they had a crafting, like we had a bunch of different classes, and one of them was crafting. There was like science and math and all these different ones, and I remember being in the science class, and it was kind of weird how it was set up, but when you go that day, I think it was either Monday or Friday, you would go, you would learn whatever they wanted you to learn, and then you would automatically take a test. No, I'm not the best test taker, and so I didn't do very good. And I think they started to notice that I really wasn't doing as good as maybe they had wanted to. I remember even being in the math class, they would be like, oh, you need to be faster, like you're so slow, like you need to hurry it up. But I was never really like academically, I don't know, it's not that I wasn't smart and it wasn't that I didn't know what I was doing, but I guess I wasn't academically fast as they were. So I think they just started to notice that I really wasn't doing that well. So they were like, hey, like we have an opening, we have this like crafting class, you know, where the girl, mostly I think it was only girls, they were there learning to sew and knit and all that stuff. They were like, you know, we could put her in there, see if she excels in that. So they did, and honestly that was the best decision. It opened a door of things that I didn't even know I enjoyed. There I learned to sew and knit and cross stitch, I learned embroidery, what else? I learned crochet, but I can't do it for the life of me, even though like they taught me, I could never pick it up. So I remember learning sewing and stuff, and I remember I think almost a few months later my parents, because they saw that I was doing more at home and I was really passionate about it, they ended up getting me a sewing machine. And my first sewing machine was a Kenmore, I don't know the name, but I know it was a Kenmore. I think we got it from Sears, because we used to have a Sears like right by our house. So we got it, and it was like so cool. I remember attempting to try and make my doll clothes, but I didn't really understand things like closures and stuff, so it obviously never worked out. And then one day I went to go do something and I broke it, quote unquote. So for I think like 3 or 4 years it stood on my dresser, just stood there. And one day I remember thinking to myself, I think there was, you know, I remember sewing, I remember enjoying it. Like, I don't really remember making anything like significant, and I obviously didn't really have anything that I had made, but I remember thinking it was so much fun. I was like, you know what, let me try and fix this. So I went in and I, you know, fiddled with it, and I was trying to figure out what's wrong with it. It literally was the simplest thing where I had a front open bobbin, and so when you put it in, you have to make sure it snaps. And when I put it in years ago, it never snaps. So the noise it kept on making was it moving as, you know, as I was sewing. So I fixed it. It was literally the easiest thing, but it sat 4 years on my dresser over. And then I started sewing, and I was like excited. I was like, you know, let me try and, you know, before, you know, I was younger, so I, you know, liked to make things for my dolls. Now I'm getting older, like, let me try and make things for myself. So I remember making a gathered skirt out of this like horrible cotton fabric that I got. It was like, I think it was from Michaels, and you know how sometimes they have like the pre-cuts, they have like a yard or two, and it was like, first off, black. It was so see-through. I remember adding a lining on the inside. I never even know how to do a lining. I literally grabbed the t-shirt, cut it out, and put it on the inside, so it had some sort of a lining. But I remember being so happy about it, like, oh my god, I made something, like, this was so cool. And so for me, ever since then, I kept on making things. For that Christmas, I ended up making a dress. It was the coolest thing. The dress pattern I showed in my last video was the dress that I made. It was black with white polka dots, and I remember I didn't know that you can get different colors, and I ended up buying white lining fabric for the inside, and so it kind of stuck out a little bit because, you know, I didn't know what the heck I was doing with the armholes and the neck, you know. binding or whatever, but it was so cool, and I remember loving it because I would always been somebody who pushed the envelope on fashion, on things that I wore crazy things throughout my life, and for me it was like, I'm finally able to wear whatever I want and look so different than everybody else, and it's all because I made it, you know. It was something I was so happy and so excited for. I had never been able to, I feel like when I finally learned to sew and really create for myself, and even though I feel like I'm not, you know, I'm still learning, I'm still growing, it's been able to help me really express myself and express my passions and things that I love, and express the way that I feel on the inside, and really show it through my clothes. I am not the most talkative or the most outgoing person. I wear some of the loudest things, and it was so funny because I was working, I think this was last week or a week or two ago, and I had my coworker come up to me and she was like, "You look normal." She was like, I'm not trying to diss you or anything like that, but she was like, "You just in here with a t-shirt and leggings." She was like, "That's not you. Are you okay?" And it was so funny because I didn't realize that, you know, some of the stuff that I make, you know, brings out sides of me, and even some of the stuff that I buy, I've noticed that because of the things that I've been making, I've been seeing my style grow. And yeah, I would love to make everything, but I don't. But sometimes because I get inspired by something I did make, or, you know, maybe I follow certain styles, you know, it grows and it evolves my whole wardrobe, you know, and it helps me to share different parts of me. And, you know, like I'm trying to think of some of the best things. Like, I made a Kellogg's red dress, and it had Kellogg's all over it. It was all like different Kellogg's cereals, and then I had because the text that I had on it had black. You know what? Let me grab it. Let me grab it. I made this dress, and it's one of my favorite things, and I get so much compliments, and I don't need people's compliments, but for me it's like being able to express myself and show who I really am, and, like, you know, be able just to go out of my way and do this. It has really helped me gain confidence, you know, in the last few years. You know, I've grown so much, and I've changed so much, and I've tried new things, and I'm always evolving and growing, but sewing has always been a part of that, and it has helped me go from point A to point B. And like I said, even though I don't make my whole wardrobe, even though not everything I have is handmade, sewing has instilled so much joy and love and life into my wardrobe, and even in just my life in general, that it's been able to bleed through everything, you know. And it sounds so silly because it's like, but you're just making things, like, you're just making a t-shirt. But it's like, yeah, but if I make a Boss t-shirt, like, that I absolutely love and that I feel good in, like today, earlier at work, I changed because it's too hot. It's too hot for this, but I changed. But before, I was wearing a white, like a cream t-shirt that I made, and I felt so good in it. And it's like, yeah, it could be some of the basic things, but if I feel good in it, I'm so happy about that, you know. Like, I'm so happy about the fact that my confidence has been growing because of my crafting, my sewing. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to just share that and, you know, inspire you if you want to start sewing, or if you're scared to, or if you just, you know, have been sewing, and just share my side of it. And, you know, I would love to hear from you guys if you guys have any sewing stories, even if maybe you don't, maybe you know somebody who does, and maybe that's, you know, that's cool for you to see. Definitely comment down below on my video. I would love to just read all that. And thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye.